from this quarter's lesson of Jesus and liberty is from the Old Testament about the slaves, where they were to serve families for 7 years, and after the 7 years they were to be released if they wanted to. Now, back in those times there was a lot of famine and poverty, and so with those you'd see that the slaves would choose to stay with the families that they were serving, not only because they had food and shelter, but it was almost like a sense of belonging, and as well as they were able to be within the worship that the family would have. And so in saying that, it's kind of like our times that we have today, where we're able to serve Jesus, not as a slave, but wholeheartedly. We're able to serve him. For those who may choose to leave the church or even stray away from the church, find themselves not coming to church, when they do come back, they're still coming back with open arms, and there is no judgment from God. And that is why we choose to serve and love him wholeheartedly, without feeling like we're slaves.
Even though the disciples were under command against Caesar, they still showed resilience in believing in Jesus Christ, and they still showed their faith strong, even though they weren't allowed to. And that's what I learned, is to show resilience, even though we are under so many worldly things. Our faith must shine through those things.
No matter what we've been through in the past, in history, Jesus has always pulled through. His word has always remained strong, through trial and error as well. So free will to worship him freely, without being dictated, from any other higher ups or government or Caesar. But yeah, just to freely worship Jesus and fully commit to him.
Reminds us that at the end of time, it will be the same when Jesus was on this earth, facing challenges, difficulties before he was crucified. So for us as youths in this time, it is good to study and to serve our God, whatever small freedom we have in this time to come to church, to serve our God faithfully. It is better, it is good for us as a young youth. The state back then in the history shows that it works along with the church to enforce rules or laws that contradicts what Jesus has come to establish. And for us today, it will be the same when we are going towards the end of time. That before Jesus comes to take his people home, we will face up with a lot of challenges that the church will go through. There's an encouragement for us, the church and the youth, that keep the faith. We don't lose hope. We don't give in to what the world has to offer, but keep the faith. We follow God.